everybody. So it has been a little bit since y'all seen me, but here is my presence. Hello, everybody. It's been a while. I apologize. School's been busy. Life's been busy. Tight schedule, etc., etc., etc. So, but anyways, today we're going to be reading Slash's Ex-Listener, the sequel, Your Devotion, up in here. Super excited about it. But, without further ado, let's get straight into the recap. So, luckily, I remember it because it's not that hard, to be honest. So, if you guys remember, we were making cupcakes with Norman because Norman wanted to spend time with us, you know, his little obsessive ass. So we spent time with him by making cupcakes in the kitchen. Now, at the very beginning of chapter 8, where the last chapter we read, last video, basically we were icing the cupcakes, made them look all nice and pretty. We did, I think, like some type of basic rainbow type of gradient, I think. And then I'm definitely sure that Norman did some type of rose petals, because he's really good with cupcakes for some reason, which he's really good at. Probably tastes bomb too. And while we were like talking, complimenting each other, and being just a happy, normal couple for once, and Mikael just ran in there, got mad, like, because you were giving much more attention to Norman than him. Started freaking slamming it. Son Norman just started choking him out. We were like, we were warning him, like, if you do not stop right now, in 5 seconds, I will not hang out with you on Halloween. And you know, like, how Mikael, like, Halloween and him, besties. So, he was like, fuck! And then just kind of, like, let Norman go like he was trash, and then just kind of was like, and walked away. Norman was like, we were all like, what the fuck? We helped make sure Norman was okay. We made him feel better with the cupcakes. We ended up taking the cupcakes out. Hannibal came out, you know, sat down beside us, started talking about some things, and trying out the cupcakes and everything. You were eating the cupcake, and Norman was eating the cupcake, enjoying a nice time. Hannibal randomly mentioned to us that he was like, hey, you know, it's time for bedtime. Shouldn't you go to sleep right now? And he's like, and you were like, oh, right. And then Norman just all of a sudden just got freaked out. He's like, no, stay with me. We could, you know. And then she's like, whoa. Well, with the big reaction, what was going on? And he's like, you know, just freaking out. And then after that little freak out, and you were like, I'm going to bed, I have to go to school tomorrow, etc., etc., and making our promises, very crappy, unsolicited promises, whatever. We end up going upstairs to our room to go to sleep, or, you know, to get ready to go to sleep. Open the door, revealing, you know who on the other side of the door. So I asked y'all, who do y'all think that's gonna be? And now we about to review that in the new chapter, that we are straight about to get into. Yeah, so the main warnings for this chapter is there will be mentions of blood and a lot of frustration during this. Like, you can hear us just panicking, but like, it's just frustration, and not like the normal frustration, but it's just like frustration. And yeah, so prepare yourselves for that. But other than that, y'all have been warned. And now y'all can fully enjoy the chapters now. Alright, y'all. So we is in chapter 9, Freddy versus Norman. And you're here because you asked with a sigh, attempting to brush past said dream demon, open your drawers to find some fresh pajamas. Well, let's see. Freddy darkly retorted, growing infuriated by your response as his left hand gripped your right wrist fiercely, preventing you from moving any further. You walked around that pathetic lake with hockey puck. You let that stalkerish freak kiss you. Then you let that stuck-up snob kiss you. Then you spent time with the stuttering little mama's boy downstairs. And then you kissed him. And, trying to ignore his jealous temper tantrum, you lazily turned around to face him. Raising your eyebrows will to suppress the urge to roll your eyes instead. What's your problem? I'm dating you all, aren't I? Oh, using that excuse now, are we? He sneered with a small laugh of frustration, his hold on you tightening before tugging you closer and letting his possessive personality show with every passing second. How very cute. Are you serious right now? You questioned sarcastically, a dark shade of pink dusting your cheeks while your heart pounded. Can't you stop acting jealous of the others for 1 second? I'll spend time with you later tonight. So, before you could finish, Freddy disappeared and reappeared behind you with another one of his creepy laughs, his arms curling around your waist as he yanked you straight into his chest. That's even more cute. He sweetly cooed, placing his chin on top of your right shoulder and speaking against your neck, thinking that this is just because of sheer jealousy. Then, what is it then? You demanded impatiently, hating how easily the dream demon could easily make you blush as his metal blades obsessively ran through your hair, strands of hair. What do you think? Mischief controlled his tone, whilst he mocked you, Freddy finding your annoyed confusion to be somewhat arousing. Yep, definitely jealousy, you muttered underneath your breath, his hug from behind now making you feel extremely embarrassed. All I want is a little compensation, I guess you could say. That's all. The killer decided with an evil smile, picking up on your shy state and becoming slightly turned on by it, considering you've spent so much more time with the others. Compensation? You sputtered in shock, spinning around and breaking free of his grasp. What the fuck does that mean? You asked what I wanted, and I told you. Freddy's wicked grin widened, the demonic male growing insanely amused by your reaction as he wrapped his left arm around your waist again and stroked the side of your face with his sharp finger knives, acting like he was almost infatuated with you. You can't act like this here, you anxiously whispered, his lips now on yours while the two of you spoke. You know, because, oh please, is that what you're worried about? Upsetting Mama's boy? The dream demon delved into your thoughts and smirked, finding your concern to be ridiculously funny. Come on, you know he's sensitive. You defended Norman with a worried expression, knowing that Freddy would definitely set the younger boy off. Besides, you want to have a little fun, don't you, princess? The Springwood slasher hummed seductively, pressing his lips against yours and kissing you like he was intoxicated by your very presence. He sounds like he is. A shade of scarlet shot across your face like fire, your heartbeat going completely crazy whilst your thoughts spiraled wildly out of control. Still, though, his flirtatious behavior and seductive actions messed violently with your emotions, causing you to brush aside reality and instead kiss back almost immediately. So much so, in fact, that you placed both of your hands on top of his shoulders and gave him a shy squeeze, feeling slightly turned on yourself as you enjoyed the passionate moment and forgot about sleeping or your previous worries. Actually, if this counted as compensation in Freddy's eyes, you wouldn't mind in the slightest. Well, that was until... Wyan? Norman called your name in complete and utter surprise, his eyes wide while he broke the lustful and lewd moment. What are you doing? Norman? You shoved yourself away from Freddy and watched in alarm as the stammering boy's expression twisted into one of hurt. I thought you didn't want to go to sleep yet. What are you doing up here? I knew it. I knew it. I knew you liked him more than me. Oh, goodness. Norman accused tearfully, his sensitive side sparking up as he started to become resentful of the demonic slasher standing next to you. Now, hold on just a second. You protested weakly, wanting to calm the situation down at once, but unfortunately. Oh, what's wrong, Mama's boy? Freddy pushed Norman's buttons on purpose and stuck his tongue out, a cruel smile spreading across his facial features. Feeling a little jealous over there? I'm not jealous! Norman snapped back, clenching his fist while tears pricked at the corner of his eyelashes. You're just being a big bully. Is that so? the dream demon drawled in a malicious tone of voice, his gloved hand curling around your waist and dragging you closer to him. It's not my fault that YN wants to spend time with me, though, now is it? Don't start! You groaned, wanting to bash your head against the wall and somehow escape this awkward conflict. I like you both, okay? So don't go jealous of each other. That's gonna fix issues. I don't need to be jealous, after all. Freddy paused for a moment to cup the side of your right cheek with his left hand. I can always just do this. Before you could say anything in response, the sadistic male kissed you without your consent a second time, directly in front of Norman. Norman's underlying jealousy exploded as you strode forwards and shoved Freddy backwards, straight away from you. Isn't it past your bedtime? Freddy retaliated angrily, swiping his metal claws against Norman's shoulder and ripping through the dark-haired boy's shirt. Why are you even here? The timid boy furiously retorted, hating the dream demon with a dark rage. Go back to where you came from, you utter creep. He is a creep. Guys, you know she only spends time with you downstairs out of sympathy, right? That's a lie, you know it. Can you both just... Bitch, please. Do you want me to split you in two? Because I will. You're pathetic. Who gives a fuck what you think? Nobody likes you. What's with kids today, huh? No respect. Sounds like old people. Come on, you two. You took a few steps back and demanded they stop helplessly. But to no one's surprise, they just carried on fighting, throwing insults at one another before Norman brought out his pocket knife to defend himself against Freddy's knifed hand. Luckily for you, Mikhail swiftly entered your bedroom, presumably to stalk you, and picked up on the situation at once, wrapping his arms around you whilst he gave you a comfortable cuddle. Thanks. You quietly breathed, your stress fading a little bit as he hid his face in your hair. A few seconds passed before the silent stalker pulled away a tiny bit, using his trusty notepad to communicate with you as he scribbled down a reply. I'll always protect you, especially from those two. It was unfair for them to involve you in one of their conflicts like that. Isn't there a way to stop them? You begged desperately, exhaustion rushing over you as you watched the fight continue. They usually just battle it out until they grow bored. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's not helpful. Growing sarcastic again, you handed the notepad back to him and bit your lip, wondering what to do, or a way to stop them. Tell him, and your mama dead, and your mama's triple dead. I don't want to hear it. Chapter 10. Bloody hell. What are you doing here? Norman noticed Mikhail and snapped at him in a high-pitched voice. His eyes constricted as he turned his attention away from Freddy. Are you trying to take YN from me, too? Mikhail's serious expression didn't switch in the slightest. The stalker simply is standing there, whilst the timid boy became even more aggravated. Nobody's taking me away from anybody. You decided in exasperation, breaking the hug before brushing past everyone to find pajamas. But why? No buts. I'm going to find some fresh pajamas and then going to bed. So you paused to sternly point at the devilish dream demon. Either wait for me in the dream world or leave the room. Understand? Freddy wickedly hummed, faking a thoughtful expression as a smirk spread across his facial features. Do I? Get out, you coldly demanded, crossing your arms after tossing some pajamas onto the bed. Now. What about Mikhail then, huh? Norman acted like a child and glared at the pale-faced man bitterly, twitching from time to time while his resentful attitude grew. That question caused you to lose it, forcing you to wildly snap out a second later, as your exhaustion reached its emotional limit. Everyone just get out! You furiously shouted, your sudden shriek startling Norman, amusing Freddy and making Mikhail grow worried on your behalf. The slashers eventually giving in to your request. Fucking finally, you muttered coldly, changing clothes and then going to the bathroom to brush your teeth. Once you'd done that, you climbed into bed, letting Norman back into the bedroom and flicked off the bedside table's lamp, snuggling down as your shy partner hugged your waist lovingly. To be fair, His adorable actions did calm you down to some degree, so much so that you held his hands with yours and squeezed them, appreciating the affectionate gesture Norman was giving you. Micaiah slipped back into the room a minute or two later and started to stalk you again, his dark orb staring at you with an intense and intimate gaze, while you decided to just ignore it, wanting to just get some rest. So that you did, your eyes falling shut whilst you readied yourself for Freddy. Welcome to prime time, bitch. She's just like, ooh. A malicious voice bursted out from behind, making you squeak in surprise and fall out of the bed seconds after. Jesus Christ! You gasped in alarm, falling onto the floor and spinning around to see a familiar dream demon lying in Norman's spot. Do you have to jump scare me every single time? That depends. Freddy's evil grin returned as his emerald green eyes glinted with unstable amusement, finding your question to be extremely entertaining. On what exactly? You dryly huffed, climbing to your feet and trying to regain your usual composure. On whether or not I actually want to stop. He mischievously taunted, chuckling a few seconds after his teasing. Which, of course, you already know how I'm going to respond. I swear, if I hadn't seen that red balloon earlier, I would have said that your behavior was the strangest thing I've endured today. You complained with annoyance, your comment snapping Freddy right out of his arrogant personality. What the fuck did you just say? The smug slasher narrowed his eyes before disappearing and reappearing directly in front of you, acting as though you just said something tremendously wrong. Sorry, I didn't know dream demons were afraid of red balloons. You spoke in a mocking tone, surprised when he gripped both of your shoulders tightly. It's not the red balloon I hate, idiot, he hissed in frustration, looking like he didn't know what to do as he shook you back and forth roughly. Where did you see it? Well, where? Calm down, okay? You shot back fiercely, raising your hands up and attempting to move him away from you. However, that didn't happen, Freddy's response being much faster than yours as his left hand grabbed your right hand instead. Where did you see it? He repeated with the most serious tone you'd ever seen him use, his green orbs glaring at you darkly. The main street? You know, before the path that leads right out of town? You answered in a tiny voice, suddenly feeling a bit intimidated by how he was behaving. I need to talk to Hannibal. The demonic male told you sharply. You stay here. Hey, wait a sec. Before you could, you desperately protested, waiting to ask what was wrong, but he had already vanished, leaving you completely alone in the dream world. You've got to be kidding me. You flopped onto the bed and leaned back, your intimidation twisting into irritation. What's so wrong with me seeing a red balloon? And why did he want me to know where I saw it? So, I want to tell y'all this right now. If y'all see a normal balloon, as you know, when you let go of a balloon, it goes up. You know, up in the air, like really fast. Like, you know, if you let go of a balloon, normally, if you don't have like a weight on it or nothing else is holding on to the, you know, to the ground, it'll fly up in the air to, you know, to where it explodes or something like that. Balloons just don't stay monotone in the same specific area, twirling towards a specific area. That's kind of like marching, okay? I'm gonna compare it to marching. That balloon, quote unquote, is quote unquote marching, because that isn't natural. I don't think. If we're in psychology, aren't we supposed to know this? This is some type of science elective, whatever type of shit. Bro, the scientific method is in psychology. Bro, like, I think we would have common sense to know that balloon is supposed to go up and not stay down where it was at, you know, unless, you know, someone was controlling it, which you know who it is if you if you got my hints. But yeah, let's use our common sense here, darling. Yes. Anyway, better question is, how come you wanted to speak to Hannibal about it instead of telling me? You murmured to yourself curiously, growing a little hurt. After all, those two hate each other. At least, I thought they did. Lying there, you realized you were still in the dream world, your boredom beginning to blossom once more whilst minutes ticks past. Maybe I should go back to sleep. You decided unhappily, for real this time. So with that, you pulled the covers over yourself and rolled over, flicking the light off as you tried your best to get some actual rest. But it was difficult. Your distress and worry about Freddy washing over you like chaotic, icy water went over a soft, sleeping beach. What sort of danger had you placed the others in because of this red balloon? Was he overreacting? Were you underreacting? Yes, we are. Forcing your eyes to remain closed, you hugged your pillow and pretended it to be your significant other, silently missing him as you wondered how long he and Hannibal would take to talk. You'd fallen asleep a second time, although it wasn't pleasant. Dream. Minutes flew past like the pigeons in the sky as you quietly hummed to yourself, the streets being strangely devoid of people and cars for some odd reason. Perhaps people were just preparing for Halloween early? That doesn't include just making cars disappear, but okay. You kept thinking about it, but you couldn't come to any sort of fitting conclusion. You grew even more confused when you spotted something floating directly in front of you. Stopping, you eyed the thing suspiciously, wanting to get a clearer look. It wasn't high above you, but it wasn't necessarily right to your height either. Somewhere in between. This thing was casually drifting across the vacant road, moving too slow to be able to float. And just what was this thing? That red balloon. You murmured under your breath, curiosity now controlling your tone as you now approached it. Why am I seeing you again? Before you could answer yourself, it randomly exploded, the balloon bursting while blood erupted from the inside and covered you in said substance. In fact, it shook you so much that you screamed and completed under horror, shaking as you frankly freaked out. Was Freddy doing this? Freddy, if you're doing this is not funny. You sobbed aloud, starting to cry as you stared down at your blood-stained hands with disgust. Wyan, please wake up. Oh, please wake up. An anxious voice said your name loudly, your eyes flying open whilst you saw Norman tearfully panicking. Norman? You shakily mumbled, sitting up and letting him fling his arms around you. You're here. I'm here. What did Freddy do? What did he do? The timid boy cried out in a troubled tone, immediately placing the blame on the devilish dream demon. I just had a nightmare. You're about to say that's all, when all of a sudden you notice the slimy blood sticking to you. Why are you? Before Norman could finish his confused question, you screamed again, shocked and sickened by what you were witnessing. Oh, fuck! I'm sorry, I saw that so bad. Anyways, you shrieked in a stunned voice, throwing the cover off of you and standing up hurriedly. What's wrong? Why are you acting this way? Norman stammered timidly, climbing out of the bed and staring at you with worry. Mikael, also being worried, brought you into a tight hug, confused by your behavior as he flashed a puzzled glance at Norman. No! You pushed him away and shouted out hysterically, moving towards the bathroom. I'll get this blood on you otherwise. Blood? Norman slowly echoed, frowning whilst his panic increased. Yes, now if you'll excuse me. He flung opened the bedroom door and ran out, sprinting into the bathroom before slamming and locking that door behind you. Oh, hell no, that shit was scaring me, bro. I'd be like, listen, puñeta, you ain't gonna scare me with that. Like, I swear, you come in here, you spill blood on me again, you owe me a new outfit. Straight up new outfit. Anyways, chapter 11, malicious mood. How did they not see the blood? You weakly wept, turning the shower on and waiting for the water to heat up. You took off your bloodstained clothes and threw them onto the floor, opening the bathroom drawers and snatching up some fresh clothes. At least I can clean myself up now. You spoke to yourself shakily, placing the clothes atop the drawers and wiping your eyes. After that, you stepped underneath the shower head and tried your best to calm yourself down, relieved that the warm water washed away the scarlet substance. Phew. You mumbled, drying yourself off with a towel before getting dressed. Thank goodness there's no blood on me, because that was absolutely awful. Once you took a few deep breaths, you unlocked the bathroom door and opened it. Taken aback by Norman's unexpected embrace. Wyan! He cried out loud, still worried about with all nuzzling into your side of your shoulder. What happened? What did Freddy do to you? Easy now, Norman. Give Wyan some space. And Hannibal reprimanded him in a polite fashion, grasping his shoulder and steering him away from you ever so slightly. Did you two really not see it? You redirected your question at Norman and Mikael, your troubled tone growing stronger as they both shook their heads. Whipping out his notepad, the silent stalker scribbled out his response and then passed it over to you, his reply causing you to become slightly agitated. There wasn't anything on you. Why, no blood, no dirt, nothing. You've got to be kidding me, you complained in frustration, handing Mikael's notepad and moving yourself backwards. That couldn't have just been a nightmare. I mean, all the blood was all over me. Even when I woke up, this is ridiculous. Maybe Freddy just gave you a really bad nightmare? Norman suggested with a cute tilt of his head, plainly not understanding why you were so head up after a soothing shower. I felt the blood! Your voice rose rapidly while you wondered what was wrong with those two in your inner thoughts. Why don't you explain to me what happened instead of those two? Hannibal pleasantly proposed, his charming characteristics coming into play whilst he sent you another one of his soft smile. Sure. You sighed in defeat, following Hannibal downstairs and into the living room. Before you could open your mouth and properly explain the situation, the devilish dream demon materialized in the middle of the living room, throwing you into another one of his malicious grins. Awake already? Bit earlier than your regular time, isn't it, princess? He smugly purred, curling his left hand around your right wrist and tugging you closer to him. The red balloon. And this is back then, like back where in the dream where she's like, Freddy, this isn't fucking funny. Oh, give me a break. You snapped roughly, yanking your hand out of his grasp and pushing him away with resentment. Don't you act like you don't know. Why would you do that? Anyway, Norma was right. Everything about the really bad nightmare. Everything about you being behind it. Everything. Excuse me? Freddy half laughed into disbelief, his eyes narrowing while his gaze twisted into an offended glare. What the fuck are you talking about? You were the one who told me to stay put, you angrily declared, growing more and more frustrated by the dream demon in front of you. You were the one that told me you had to speak to Hannibal, and I did. The demonic slasher fired back darkly, holding his knife hand out in a threatening expression. So watch what you say to me, bitch. I thought you were gonna talk about the red balloon, not play pathetic little pranks on me behind my back, like throwing me in actual blood. You yelled furiously, clenching your fist and glaring right back at him. Have you gone nuts? Like Freddy coldly retorted, glancing at Hannibal, Norman, or Mikhail for any type of answer. No, I haven't. You sharply retaliated, spinning around and moving away. Anyway, I'm gonna make breakfast before heading into my uni class. Get back here now, YN. Girl, get back here. His voice was dangerously low, looking insanely unstable as he waited for your response. Why should I? You turned to face him with a taunting tone and became even more bitter, not wanting to forgive him for the last nightmare shenanigans. Need a good laugh? I don't know what the fuck happened in your dreams, but what I do know is that I wasn't behind them. Got that, sweetheart? Freddy hissed wildly, hating your accusations with a malicious passion. I hate to side with Kruger and disrupt said conversation, but I'm afraid he does have a point. Hannibal placed atop of your shoulder and calmly squeezed it, his comment causing you nothing but confusion to flutter across your face. But last night, he was really discussing things with me, including this red balloon you keep bringing up. The psychiatrist slightly explained, his answer not making any sense to you whatsoever. Then how could he have been talking to you? Hugh suspiciously questioned, surprise swirling back into frustration as you tried your best to contain your negative emotions. If I was having a nightmare, after all, someone must have been behind it. Unfortunately, I can't answer that. Hannibal responded quietly. 1, because I don't know, and 2, because the dream world is Fred Kruger's domain, which has nothing to do with me. Besides, you do remember that humans have nightmares with or without my tampering, right? Freddy interjected with a sickly sweet smirk, his condescending behavior irritating you as he finally left the living room. Wait! Norman called after you in alarm. Where are you going? I'm going to my my psychology class. You decided firmly, silently skipping breakfast and planning to grab some food in the lunch hall. But what about I'll eat breakfast in the uni cafeteria? And with that, you brushed aside Norman's nervous pandering, snatched your bag, and ignored Freddy's frustrated look as you headed towards the front door. Mikhail shadowing your footsteps due to his usual stalking. That's crazy. The movie is in chapter 12, Frustrated Friends. A few minutes after leaving, Mikhail tugged on your shirt sleeve, forcing you to stop before gripping your wrist tightly. What? You tiredly huffed. What is it? The silent stalker whipped out his notepad and scribbled down his reply, plainly aggravated by something. You promised to spend time with me today. It's Halloween, remember? Of course I remember, but I've missed a ton of classes. If I keep ignoring my friends, then they're going to grow suspicious. You pointed out sternly, wanting to show reason and rational at the same time. Then what will you do? Don't leave me. You can't. I won't let you. The Mikhail wrote down obsessively, his cold words forcing chills to run down your spine. We're still spending today together, you hurriedly assured him, turning around to face him whilst trying to calm him down. So please don't worry. How about once my classes end, we decorate the house with Halloween things. Mikhail merely tilted his head to the side, clearly a little confused by what you meant. You know, like other people do to celebrate. We could put up false spider webs, place a couple gravestones here and there, and even carve pumpkins together. You planned with excitement, your aggravation fading as you lost the earlier exasperation. The stalker brightened up at your ideas, definitely seeming to like that more than you simply doing your psychology classes. But we'll need supplies and such, so why don't you go and get them while I catch up on my studies? Then we'll meet back at the house. Sound good? You decided in a calm tone of voice, wanting to pacify Mikhail and also to get to class. With a slow nod, the quiet killer pulled you into a possessive cuddle and hugged you tight, nuzzling his white-faced, masked face into the top of your hair as he began drawing attention to himself. I love you too, you told him with a roll of your eyes and a smile. Your heartbeat becoming uneven as you grew more and more flustered. But we should really go. People are going to notice. Once you said that, Mikhail broke away and almost vanished into thin air, acting incredibly excited about what the two of you had now planned. A faint laugh escaped your lips whilst you watched him leave your side, finding his behavior to be unbelievably sweet and cute. Still, though, you had to get to your uni class, because otherwise, your psychology teacher and friends would definitely become suspicious about how little you'd been attending classes. Amber would yell and demand answers. Laura would feel frustrated, and Candace would most likely feel betrayed. With a sigh, you approached your university and tried your best to blend into YN! Amber's angry voice shouted through the large swarm of students. Her dark brown hair, which was dyed pink at the ends, flying behind her as she made her way fiercely towards you. Oh, Amber! Hey there, you awkwardly greeted, flashing her a sheepish smile and praying she wasn't too mad. So how have you been? Don't you have you been? Me? She snapped with clenched fists, her sapphire-shaded orbs glaring directly at you. We've all been worried sick about you. Well, it's just, I mean, you promised a Skype call explaining everything like 3 days ago, and we never got anything. Where have you even been? Ryan, it's so good to see you again. Caden's voice cut through the crowd next, her coffee-colored eyes shining with warmth as she brushed past Amber and wrapped her arms around you affectionately. I'll say, it was like you turned into a ghost or something. Laura chipped in coldly, appearing out of nowhere and playing with a strand of her curly black hair. Or turned on us, Amber added, placing a hand on her hip while attempting to regain her temper. I mean, honestly, stop being so dramatic, you two. She probably just got caught up with her new boyfriend or new roommates, you know? Something along those lines. Cadence mocked mischievously, clearly amused by your actions. My new boyfriend? You blankly repeated, feeling horribly embarrassed once you realized what your teasing friend meant. And then this is basically where Hannibal led her to a library, met her friends. Hannibal tolerated them. He said that he was our boyfriend, and then boom. That's the background of all that. Anyway, that's not where I've been at all. You panicked wildly, growing worried once you wondered how to explain. Then where have you been, huh? Laura pushed pointedly, raising her eyebrows as she waited for a reasonable response. Biting your lip, you held either side of your arms and faced all three of them, trying to decide on a good enough reply. Fortunately for you, it turned out that you didn't need to. Oh, that sounds like the bell. We'd best be on our way, you anxiously spoke, flashing them a fearful smile before hurrying towards the university's entrance. You better explain yourself after class, you hear? Amber yelled after you in frustration, Laura also looking immensely irritated. Crap. How exactly were you meant to make it up to them? between your psychology class, spending the rest of Halloween with Mikael, and keeping your other boyfriends happy in the meantime while making sure no more conflicts crawl out of the shadows. What were you supposed to do? The stressful scenario was proving to be more and more difficult with every passing day. Not to mention, almost everyone you interact with was mentally and emotionally exhausting. Flopping down at your desk, you tucked a strand of hair behind your ear and took out one of your textbooks, guilt washing through your veins as you saw how annoyed Amber and Laura both looked. So, Rose, you struck up a conversation under your breath faintly, trying not to interrupt the class in any way, shape, or form. The girl in front of you face-palmed and turned around, raising her eyebrows in amusement. Didn't you say last time you asked me for something that you really owed me one? I know, but I have no idea what I've missed. And if it's been if it's on the end of the year exam, how will I know what to revise? You complain unhappily. You're lucky I like you, IN. Rose shook her head and smiled, open her notes from a few days ago. Okay, so the last couple of classes have recited around how not only can physical abuse from parents hurt a child, but emotional and mental abuse can hurt just as much, and if not more. Very dark stuff, I suppose you could say. You're telling me. You agreed with a weak laugh, relief flooding your thoughts when you wrote down what to study and catch up on. Thanks for putting up with my crap and telling me what I missed, Rose. I swear, if I get sick one day, you're going to be so screwed. Now, aren't you? She playfully commented, grinning before turning back to face the front properly. Uh-huh. You mumbled to yourself, thankful that Rose wasn't annoyed with your constant inquiries like you thought she'd be. Of course, when people are like, so it depends, because sometimes when you're supposed to Skype call your friends, they're going to be expecting that Skype call, you know what I'm saying? Randomly, I don't really plan any calls. I just randomly call my friends sometimes. If they answer, we talk forever. Specifically, one of my friends, which is practically my BFF. They're amazing. We chill, we good up there. But yeah, anywho, let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the next chapter. Did you guys expect this little upcoming event from our friends? Let me know in the comments down below. For me, honestly, first question, probably gonna either run away before they could catch up, or two, we're just gonna have to fake up a really good excuse. Okay, that has some quote unquote evidence behind it. And for the second question, same thing. It answers the same thing. So, what did y'all expect those other girls to? Yeah, they're friends, and if a friend really cares about you and is worried sick about you, they would probably either, if they know where you live, they probably go where the hell you live, or they're probably gonna call your phone like crazy until you fucking answer, or text you like fucking crazy. It just depends what type of friend you have, or just try and physically find you or stalk you. It just depends. Anywho, I gotta cut this short, y'all. I do apologize, but I hope you did enjoy this at least. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. Your girl's gotta sadly go. I shall see y'all in the future video of either this series or another series I will be reading. That is probably 7 other different series I'm reading. So, I hope you guys like those. Or this one, if you guys just prefer this series, that's a-okay. I don't mind. But anyways, your girl's gotta go. Bye and peace.